Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Sujalam Sufalam Malayaj Sitalam Sasya Syamalam Mataram. Vande Mataram. Subhrajyosna pulakitayaminim pullakusumitadrumadala sovinim suhasinim sumadurabhashinim sukadam varadam mataram vande mataram vande mataram vande mataram.
Dhanyavadaha.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, let us request Gopala Krishna Garu to do Prarthana, please.
Let's do 1 minute of meditation. Focusing on your breath. Okay, slowly close your eyes. Open your eyes now. Om Gananam Tva Ganapati Havamehe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anasrunvannoti Bhisida Sadanam Om Sri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajanivati Dhinama Vitriyavatu Om Sri Mahasaraswatye Namaha Gurureva Gati Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave Naguro Paramam Sisuraspi Guru Matirasti Guru Mama Pahi Guru Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalaspatika Krudim Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Ayagrivam Upasmahe Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhasha Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagini Yomavadyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti 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 Matrudevo Bhava Pitrudevo Bhava Acharya Devo Bhava Atithi Devo Bhava Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Upanaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahe Tejasvi Navaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Om Shanti 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 Hari Om.
Dhanyavadaha. Dhanyavadaha Gopala Krishna Mahadev. Now, today is the second day of our lectures on Mahabharatam by Dr. Nagaraja Rao Garu. And let us, request him to start the webinar, please. Nagaraja, please.
Varasaram Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavanam Dhyaye Sarvavignopasantaye Sadasiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Pujyaya Raghavendraya Satyadharmarataya Cha Bhajatam Kalpavruchaya Namatam Kamathenve. Shubhodayam. Good morning to all of you. So yesterday we were discussing some aspects of Mahabharata, wherein I was elaborating the structure of Mahabharata. What exactly was Mahabharata, how big it was, what was its greatness, and what is the volume, and how many shlokas are there, how big it is when compared to other literatures of other countries, or in our own country, how big it is over Ramayana, and how Mahabharata has to be understood and how it is to be interpreted. This type of things, some aspects of Mahabharata we were discussing. We were also discussing that initially how many slokas were there, subsequently how it was elaborated and how it was elaborated, and who told Mahabharata, at what place it was told, what is the significance of that place. This type of things in a structured fashion, to some extent, we have seen yesterday. Wherein yesterday, a few doubts were there. The doubts were that whether the original text of Mahabharata is available. Yes, it is available. Yes, yesterday I searched it and I sent it to the organizers also. But it is thing is that Veda Vyasa Prati, I don't think it is available now. Whatever that exactly written by Veda Vyasa, the Talapatra Grantha, maybe that is actually composed by some later poets, that what is called later scholars. Those scholars called out those important shlokas. What are those 8,000 and odd shlokas? And they have come out with the name of Jaya Samhita. It is available in Amazon also. It is available yesterday I saw it. Some 220 rupees it is available. But only problem with the book is that I have seen the book. It is only the text is there. Beyond that, there is no commentary, no meaning, nothing is there. Only text is available. Text can be, anybody can have access for that book and they can have it there. They can have the book. And the second doubt that was asked by some person was that whether Dushyanta ruled the entire country or the entire world as a whole. It is mentioned that two types of shlokas are there in Mahabharata. One says that Chatushagra Paryantam, he was ruling the Bhumandalam, it is there. Sanskrit Mahabharata, of course. The second shloka says that and also he was ruling like that, and his rule was extending up to the border levels of Mlechadeshas, like that is there. The Mlechadeshas limitation is there. Second shloka, it is very clearly mentioned that the rule extended up to the borders of Mlechadeshas. Mlechadeshas normally we consider as the Yavanadeshas, what we can call now. Mlechadeshas means that is where Alexander and all those persons were staying, no? The Iran, Iraq area, and those areas. Up to that limit, it was there like that. Also, it is mentioned. So normally, these things in Sanskrit, what we have to consider is that there are some Arthavada shlokas, what we can call. Great scholars normally say that sometimes, in order to eulogize a person, in order to highlight a person, normally we will be telling that there are in his kingdom, some of the palaces were touching to the sky. If they tell that, it doesn't mean that they are touching to the sky. They are going to the extent of very big whose ones may be there in that fashion. This may be also this particular shlokas, these two shlokas also. Dushyanta rule, he was a great ruler. His kingdom was extending to much beyond, and all these things. That is, that way we have to understand whether he ruled the entire world or the entire ruled country. Maybe it is a long past, and not normally connected to the definition of history. It will not fall. It falls only to the definition of itihasa only. It happened like that, in that way. So in that way, if we understand, I think the doubts will be cleared. With this background, I think no other doubt, other things, I think we have told to some extent. If anything is not told, still you can ask today also, you can ask. Anyway, today's lecture is about what I can call from today onwards, because Mahabharata is a huge one. If we tell the abstract, because how Mahabharata was constructed was that it is whatever dictums that are there in Vedas and Upanishads, those are to be spread to all the people. Because of this reason, narratives are built up, stories are built up. So there are so many stories are there. Apart from the main content that is called Kuru and Pandavas fight, over and above there are so many stories are there. Maybe Nilakanta Vyakhya is there for Mahabharata. It is authentic Vyakhya, people say. Was an 18th century scholar, Nilakanta. Nilakanta Vyakhya is also there for us, for what is called Bhagavad Gita also it is there. Mahabharata also, the entire Mahabharata, no other person has written the Tika, that is called Vyakhyanam. Vyakhyanam was written by Nilakanta. In the Nilakanta Vyakhya also it is mentioned that roughly 1000 Upakhyanas are there. 1000 Upakhyanas means small, not small stories, big stories only. They are there. Why all these stories are built up in between the crux of the current story is in order to spread the message of Dharma at different points of time, different situations, different periods, and morals, ethics, Rajaniti, and all these things are discussed. There is a big difference between morals and ethics. Morals normally, the business terminology, I was teaching for management students also. At the time, we used to come across these two terms. Morals and ethics are two different things. Morals change from time to time, place to place, and person to person, they will be changing. Ethics is something, how will they change? The morals change from place to place. Place to place means what are the morals in one country may not be the morals in some other country. Morals of maybe even South India may not be morals for North India. Sometimes, not all times. Similarly, they change from place to place. It is there, person to person. Sometimes I believe that taking care of parents in the old age is the moral responsibility of the person, but other person may not feel like that. Other person may feel that it is better to put them in old age home. That is good morals, because when we can't take care of them properly, it is better to put them in some other place. The moral of one person may not be the moral for other person. Similarly, moral change over a period of time also. What are the morals for maybe 1000 years back or 100 years back may not be morals now. That is there. So many persons will be telling that why Rama sent Sita when Sita came back, and why he asked her to put in go undergo the ordeal of fire. It is wrong, something on the part of Rama. That is the morals of those period are something different from the morals of today. Morals of today may not be the morals of the future. Maybe after 30 years or 40 years or 100 years. That is, they will be changing. But what is ethics is that normally you apply some sort of rational principle. Take out the moral, put the reasoning for it, and if it is standing to the test of reasoning to that particular situation, that is called ethics. Broadly, this ethics and dharma, they go together. Dharma is also like that. Sometimes there are rules will be there. Many persons will come across. Some persons will be following. I follow the principles of Vedas. Something of that nature. But depending upon the situation, circumstances, and all these things, sometimes you need to apply the rationality according to the present situation. And if you find out the moral is standing to the test of reason, the moral you need to adopt. Otherwise, sometimes it is okay to discard that particular moral and adopt the new moral. This is the idea between morals and ethics. And even if you Google it also, you find out what is the difference between morals and ethics. Morals operate at the lower plane and ethics operate at the higher plane. ethics can be applied for all the people. These type of arguments and counter arguments you come across in many places. With this background, I would like to tell a story today because Mahabharata itself is a narration of many stories. Few stories only we have to understand the subject matter. Without story, only principles if we begin to tell it is highly boring again. That is why I would like to tell you one popular story which you know already. Even then, because the story has to be told and then I will be telling the story. At the same time, I will also be at the end of the story. Let us compare the story with some other stories. Number one story what I would like to tell today is that Samudra Manthanam, everybody knows it. And also that is one aspect. There is a second story is related to Ekalavya. The third story may be connected to Arjuna getting Brahmashiro Namakastra and other persons. Even Ashwatthama was not getting. And Dronacharya refused to teach Brahmastra to Karna. This type of things just we will be touching over it if depending upon the time. If time permits, only one story or 2-3 stories. Otherwise, one story. And let us try to analyze with the original subject matter with the introduction. I would like to connect with the introduction matter. Devasura Sangrama. The heading itself is written down in Mahabharata as it is Devasura Sangrama. Everybody knows it. Devas wanted to get the Amruta. When they wanted to get the Amruta, it is very difficult to get Amruta by churning of the ocean. They approached Mahavishnu. Vishnu suggested them, okay, you go to Asuras also, take their help, because individually you alone cannot churn the entire ocean. They went to the Asuras. Indra personally went to Asura king requested, we are all of course brothers only. Let us churn the ocean so that we can get Amruta. They also agreed for it. They also eagerly and anxiously they also came there. They were also willing to help. All the persons put together, they wanted to churn the ocean. Then it is very difficult to put the Mandhara Parvata. They took the help of Ananta, the king of serpents. Then Vasuki was taken. Vasuki was a thread that is called a rope for churning that entire Mandhara Parvata. And Sri Mahavishnu came in the form of Kurmavatara. He was there beneath, holding the entire structure, and they were churning. When they were churning like that, there's a story I will be very briefly I will be telling because it is a known story. Halahalam came out first, everybody knows it. Then they took it to, everybody was afraid. They went to Nilakanta, that is not Nilakanta, Ishvara. They went. Ishvara gulped it, and it came, and it was because of the intervention of the Parvati. Intervention of Parvati, it was kept in the neck only. That is why he became a Nilakanta. That story we know it. Then one after another, very important things came out. One is Chandra came out. Chandra is a moon, that is called moon came out. After that, Kamadhenu came out. After that, Kalparusha came out. Ucheshrava came out. Many Apsarasas came. And Lakshmi also came. And many other things also came. Many other things, so many things. Vajras, Vaidurias and all these things also came out. And Lakshmi also came out. When Lakshmi came out, and she directly went and married Sri Mahavishnu. These all things took place. Then what happened was that ultimately the king, the Dhanvantari god appeared holding the Amruta Bhanda in his hands, and he was emerging out of it. When he was emerging out of it, suddenly there was a scramble. Scramble were there, and there were high noise and high voice which was there. And everybody was telling that it is mine, like that. There was actually people were struggling for it. And you believe it or not, these Asuras came there, snatched out that entire one, went to a secluded spot, and again they did not take it. They were fighting among themselves. For me first, like that. Then all of us know, Sri Mahavishnu assumed the avatar of Mohini. He went there just to attract the demons. And what happened was that the asuras lost their power of buddhi, the intellectual power they lost, discriminative intellect they lost. And they were thinking that this was the lady whom we can trust. This was a lady, so beautiful lady. She came there and she was not even asking them that I am going to help you, something of that nature. Also, she was not asking. She was just standing. Everybody was gazing at her. And they decided on their own that this is the only lady who can dispense with the entire Amrita to all the people. So they went there. You are a beautiful lady. Who are you? Like that. People were asking. And then everybody was telling, I am so and so, I am this Asura, I am that Asura, like that. Everybody was proclaiming before her. She was just smiling. At the time, ultimately, the entire Amrita Bhanda, they thought you are the only person whom we can believe. I can't believe this person, I can't believe that person. I can believe you. And ultimately, they handed over that Amrita to Mohini. Mohini asked them, yes, I can give. But thing is that you need to sit in 2 rows. On one side, the Devatas, and on one side, the Asuras should sit. They sat like that. When they sat like that, she started. There are many types of different versions of the stories there here. He was telling that you close your eyes like that. In one Purana it is there. Then there's some other Purana it is there. They just opened their eyes only. But whatever it may be, they were there on one side and these persons are on one side, and she was distributing. And they were saying her Rakshasas were gazing at her only. And then ultimately they found that it is getting over. And we know the Rahu switching over to this side, sitting on the side of gods in the form of God only. And then Sudarshan Chakra, Sri Mahavishnu cut his throat on the advice of on the what is called on the moon and sun, that Chandra and Surya. They showed this person was a villain like that, and he cut off his head, and then this subsequently Grahanas and all this story we know it. And this is the crux of the story. But here the question is, after seeing the entire thing, one question will be cropping up. Recently, I come across, normally for all Mahabharata stories, I used to search not only the traditional scholars' versions, but the versions even by the modern thinkers, the so-called secular thinkers sometimes. I have come across 2-3 good articles, not great articles, supposed to be the great articles published in the internet. There I saw one of the persons, he was mentioning that the significance of the story is that after doing the entire thing, the entire churning took place. Devatas took the help of Asuras. After taking their help, they did not give anything to the Asuras. The principles of natural justice is there, no? The principles of natural justice has been violated here. People on those days, and he was also writing that, and Asuras are treated like that from the beginning. Nowadays, even some sections of the caste are also being treated like that, as if Devas are higher caste people and Asuras are the lower caste people. In that way, one article has come up. Similarly, and particularly these type of articles we find in databases like ProQuest, EBSCO, these 2 things mainly. Google Scholar also sometimes will be coming across these type of articles. And in Mahabharata, many articles, every day one article is getting published on one topic or other topic. It will be there. Why I normally prefer to read these type of articles is that normally when we are discussing this today, we are there in the classroom. I normally suppose that the persons who are assembled here, of a common mentality or a little bit wavelength is emerging because some sort of traditional thinking. We want to learn something about the greatness of Mahabharata. We believe that Mahabharata is a great Gandha. I don't think any person sitting here is not believing in Vedas or is not believing in Mahabharata, is not believing in Ramayana. May not be like that. Maybe all these persons are some sort of, maybe majority of the persons may be of similar age group also, or maybe because of the Zoom classes, the speaker will not be knowing the audience, and the audience only will be seeing the speaker. Sometimes if the speaker is also switching off the video, he will also not be seen. So here the question here is that normally we don't see person to person. That is why I normally assume that we are like this. This is a group of homogeneous group we are having. Some sort of homogeneity is there here. But when we go a step outside, the majority is not belonging to this group. Those people, even now also people will be telling, so many persons you come across, whichever person, even the scholars, what we can call, they will be telling that Ekalavya is a good person and these persons are the bad person, Drona is a bad person. Similarly, Amruta Mathanam, this is Rakshasas were not given their share, their share. Their right has been ignored. Their right to get the nectar was not given to them. These type of things will be coming across. So how do you normally reconcile these two things? How can you tell them that this is the actual story? The story's component significance is something different, as normally we assume. They say this is the subject matter. This is why I brought out this story, is that normally the symbolic significance of the story sometimes we have to see. And why this story has been put in Mahabharata, there is no necessity of putting this story. In Adi Parva, you come across this story, not directly connected to any event. And similarly, Ramayana also the story is there. And a few Puranas also the story is there. Why the story is being mentioned again and again? When some persons who contributed for the cause were denied the fruits of the cause, fruits of that action. That was here. Then how do you rectify this one? You can understand it. Here, thing is that what we have to understand is that because here the structure of this entire lecture is that in between interaction, I think it is not much there. It is only at the end only questions and answers are given. That is why I am not asking you or poking you the questions. Whatever these questions I am not putting to you. I only answer all these questions to whatever extent I can answer. And then you can ask the questions subsequently. So on the face of it, it looks as though the gods have deceived the asuras. Having taken the help of all these persons for churning the ocean, they denied their fruits of labor. This is then why it has been done. For that we need to know that the purpose of Puranas and Itihasas. Yesterday I was telling the purpose of Puranas and Itihasas are to explain the subtle thoughts that are there in Vedas. Vedas can be understood only by a few wise people, and Puranas and Itihas are meant for common people. Each and every character and each and every episode in Mahabharata, Ramayana for that matter, the text is only a pretext to explain certain principles that we need to understand. Because we need not go deep into. There are normally, whenever I tell this story to some many audiences, people will be asking, sir, you told only Chandra, Uchai and for you also. Alashmi also came, sir. You are not told something of that nature. Those are insignificant, please, to be frank. We have to know it. That is a different issue. That is for the purpose of children. For the purpose of elders, what we should know is that what is the dharmic principle that is involved? Why it is really denied on the face of it, even if we see also, we find that Rakshasas were ignored. They were not given the treatment. Proper treatment was not given because they were holding the the neck portion, the mukha portion of the serpent, and then these people were holding the tail portion that is also there. And again, they worked together, and afterwards they were ignored. Then how can you understand? It means here, Deva and Asura. There are certain definitions are given. Definitions means there actually we feel that Devas are a set of people, Asuras are a set of people. And it is not in that way, it is not portrayed here. In the story, it is portrayed that Devas are certain qualities and Asuras are certain qualities. Devas, even Shankara Bhashyam of Gita, Shankaracharya mentions one thing. Devaha Shastrodbhasita Indriya Vruttayaha. Like that he mentions. Devaha Shastrodbhasita Indriya Vruttayaha. Asuraha Tat Viparitaha. Like that he mentions. Which means that our thoughts, mind, purified by the scriptures and gods. These are gods. The cruel, the devilish, ugly, and unrefined thoughts represent asuras. Like that he mentioned. Deva, Asura. Because those two terms only are used in Mahabharata, or in whichever Purana you take, it is not some other terminology they have not used. The terminology they have used is Deva, Asura, Sangrama. Deva, Asura, Sangrama, Devas are like this. Devas are Shastrodbhasita Indriya Vruttayaha Devaha. Asuraha tad viparitaha. Asushu ramante iti asuraha, like that they tell. Asushu means which the persons who always dwell in the pleasure of indriyas. Those persons are asuras. So here, even if we assume that those type of person, the persons whose mind is refined by the intellect of reading the scriptures, Vedas, and all these persons are on one side. Those persons whose thoughts are ugly, unrefined, devilish, these are on the other side. Even in the story narrative also we find that these type of persons how they behaved and these persons how they behaved from the beginning, like that. Initially, when Vasuki was taken out, they was opted for which place? Then Vishnu tells, you opt for this side, that is the side of the mukha. Naturally, they fight with you. We want that mukha, like that. So he was correct. Devas initially suggested, we take the head portion of the serpent and you take the tail portion of the serpent. Then Asuras thought, and we are actually great people. We are great people than the gods. So we deserve to take the head and you take the tail, like that. And that is called Aham Bhava. They displayed in the beginning itself. Happily they took it. And the serpent was emitting the poison continuously, killing so many of asuras continuously. Even then they were holding that side only. That was the initial thing. The second thing is that we come across is that when Dhanvantari appeared with the Amrita Kalasha, there is how it should be disposed of. Everybody should keep quiet. Need not scramble, need not be there. Rajasika guna or Tamasika guna we need not display. If everybody is sitting quiet, somebody has to distribute it. They could have taken it. Instead of that, they snatched the entire Amrita Kalasha and took it to some excluded spot. And all these gods were also witnessing the entire scene. And even after taking there, they did not take it. They were fighting among themselves. Because it is for me and not for any other person. This was a condition. Subsequently, when Mohini appears there, she was a new person. All these asuras, of course, brothers are one way or other way, everybody is related. They did not believe among themselves only. They did not believe their own brothers, they did not believe their own fathers, they did not believe their own uncle, aunt, whatever it may be. Nobody they believed. They believed some new lady whom they have not seen earlier. First time they have seen. The first time they have seen, they wanted to give that entire Amrita Bhanda, which is a precious one, just handed over to her. Then she took it. So all these things, if you continuously see from the beginning to the end, how the Asuras behaved, they were in the Indian pleasures only. They were there. They were looking at the lady and not looking at the part. That was the situation here. So Asushu Ramante iti Asuraha, like that it is mentioned. So here the people, the scholars say that in each and every human's body's mind, there are two types of thoughts will be emerging all the time. Suppose you are there in one place. It is a place where nobody is watching you, no CCTV is there, of course, where you are there. Some precious article is there. And even if you take, nobody can know it. The normal human mentality is that majority of the people, there may be some good people. There are good people are there. So majority of the people, the tendency is that if I take it to my house, how it would be. I have seen when I was working for the government office, there are some people who used to purchase pens, ballpoint pens, then all these instrument stationery items. And whatever stationery items are there, on one occasion I went to the house of one person. Whatever that is there in the office, entire thing is there in the house also. Thing is that because when nobody is watching, the human tendency is that to take it out to the house. Anyway, office can purchase one more thing, stapler, punching machine. This type of things, many people will be taking out, and they will be keeping with them. Like that, here also what will happen is that when nobody is observing, our mind will be saying that one thought will be telling that okay, what will happen if we take it? There much is there here. Anyway, they can purchase. It is having huge organization, having a lot of money. In that way, so we justify that one thought will be coming all the time. One more thought will be coming. Stealing is bad. One should not do it. But the two will fight all the time inside because even though some people are bad, the bad people also will be having these thoughts. Good people also will be getting this type of thoughts sometimes, at least I believe. I don't know because how it happens, because each and every person's mind is individual. We can't gauge the mind of any other person. But normally the mentality, if we observe the people, it is like this. Now ultimately what will happen if you are promoting this idea? You keep the jewel here only and go out, whatever worthy item. If you promote this idea, you take it out and go there. Both will happen. But here, Asuras are on one side and Devas are on one side. Which side you have to protect? You have to support. You need to support all the time. If you want to be a good person, if you want to be a sadhaka, and if you want to attain something great beyond this earth, beyond the purview of this thing, which you want to attain the higher lokas or mukti, whatever it may be. Because you see, all these things are ephemeral, we know it. That is also we know it. Even if you take something precious one, the precious one is not yours. You may be feeling that the entire land is my land, but that is why Telugu we come across one beautiful shloka, Bhumi Nadi and Bhumi Pakkuna Novu, like that people will be telling. I think that this entire site is belonging to me. People will be putting the board. But when he dies, it is going to his son or somebody will be snatching away, whatever it may be. So here we know the insignificance of that particular article or ephemeral nature of that article. Still, we want to possess it. This is called what we can call the tendencies of Rakshasa Gunas or Asura Gunas. The tendency of other persons is something different. So here what you have to support is that you need to support those type of things. That is one thing we need to understand. Then one more thing is that here all the time, these type of persons, if you promote in the society, what will happen to the society as a whole in future? Suppose you are distributing the nectar to Asuras also. If they go out from the particular spot with that type of behavior, how do they disrupt the basic fabric of the society? That also we need to take into consideration. Unless you take that into consideration, because dharma has to be seen not in piecemeal. Dharma has to be seen from the perspective of the whole. Which is dharma and which is adharma. Here Vishnu, why he has done like that is that He has seen the overall picture. Overall picture is more important than the individual thing. The winning of the war is more important than winning of the battle. You may be winning so many battles, but ultimately the war is more important. Similarly, dharma also, we need to see the whole lot. What would happen if this is going to be done? The individually at the particular spot, they may be denied that opportunity. But thing is that if these persons are sent out from into the society, how do they behave? How do they disrupt the fabric of the society? These things also we need to take into consideration. And in the same article, maybe I also come across some other things also. What they were mentioning was that and how they was suppressed asuras. Similarly, certain higher caste people are suppressing the lower caste people. Unnecessarily, they will be bringing all this into picture because those things will be getting published in the international journals. Normally, we feel that if a person is publishing an article in international journal, he is a great person. And I was also having the same perception from the beginning. But over a period of years, I could know that it is better to publish one article in a traditional journal. Traditional way, because a traditional in the sense where the people will be respecting that journal, people will be having some values and all these things. There are if you publish some rubbish about Mahabharata, it will be published in Harvard Business Journal also. I can tell you. Why? Because those persons are waiting for this type of articles only. And that is why we believe the entire Indian history was distorted, and a few great scholars, don't want to mention the names here. Those persons are in the payrolls of the some other universities of some other countries. That is why normally what we need to do is that in order to understand the breaking away forces and all these things, sometimes the persons like Rajiv Malhotra, I think majority of the persons must be knowing here. Those type of persons, they systematically they are striving, they're trying to understand how some elements across the world, in India, the so-called scholastic persons, they were on the payrolls of some other countries, and then how they are disrupting the integrity of the country and all this is they are coming across. Of course, this is of course a diversion of the subject matter here. But anyway, if you find time, try to read the what is written by the Rajiv Malhotra gentleman. If you have heard of him, well and good. If you have not heard of him, at least write down his name. He's a great scholar, doing a lot of research on Indology, and he is bringing out many facts of this nature. And how the systematically some articles are getting published in some other places to disrupt the nature of the society and all these things, whatever it may be, some bold comments and all these things. Anyway, here he was also writing that then higher caste people are suppressing the lower caste people, and he was mentioning that this Hiranyakashipa, Hiranyaksha, and all these persons, Vrittasara, all these persons are belonging to, they were suppressed. But he was not, he may be knowing or he may not be knowing that all these persons whom he mentioned were all Brahmins only again. Hiranyakashipa was a Brahmin, Prahlada was a Brahmin, Ravana was a Brahmin, Kumbhakarna was a Brahmin, Uttasara was a Brahmin. All these persons are Brahmins only. But still, he was mentioning that they suppressed these persons. And as if these persons are the lower caste people. Asuras are not lower caste people. That we have to understand, please. Here, Asuras are only those persons who always dwell in sensual pleasures. Ashushu ramante iti asuraha. Only that is the definition here. Any person for that matter, if Ravana is there, Ravana is indulging in sensual pleasures, he is Asura. Otherwise, he is Deva only. Deva is a person who dwells in a higher plane, something of that nature. Yeah, this is actually when adharma is there, it is a natural that and again Bhagavad Gita, if you tell paritranaya sadhunam vinayasaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge, everybody knows the shloka. And in order to attack what we can call ascendancy of adharmic forces, and he will be born again and again to destroy those evil forces. And that is the idea of this entire story. After this telling this story, I would like to switch time. What is the time now? Time is 7:18 only. Okay. I want to tell the story of Ekalavi also, which is most, it is also interpreted in a very bad way, particularly by films. particularly by, again, according to the present morals, we wanted to put these morals over to that particular story, and we are trying to establish certain things. Those type that also we will discuss here today. Ekalavya story also broadly I will be discussing. Background of the story also I will be telling, and then briefly, very briefly I will be telling, and discussion we will be discussing a little bit and try to analyze these stories put together. Ekalavya, who is Ekalavya? Many persons think that he is a Nishada, but he by birth he is not a Nishada. He was brought up by a Nishada. Nishada is a community, Boya caste, what we can call a tribe caste. It is not Boya, what we can call. He is a hunting caste person. We think like that, but he is not like that. He is actually Pandavas are there. No? Pandavas' mother's sister's son. Mother's sister's son. He is a mother's sister's son, and also Sri Krishna's aunt son. Sri Krishna was having 5 Krishna's, no, that is called Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the father of Sri Krishna. Vasudeva was having 5 daughters, 5 sisters. Vasudeva's father was Shurasena. Shurasena was having this Vasudeva, 5 sons and 4 daughters he was having. The 4 daughters' names I don't remember. Prutha is one, Shrutasena is one, and 2 other names are there. Anyway, for one person, we are having Shishupala. For one more person, Dantavaktra, one more lady. And for Prutha, Pandavas. For one more lady, we come across this Vinda, 5 sisters. Vinda and Vinda for one sister. Shishupala for one sister. Dantavaktra for another sister. Ekalavya is also belonging to one of the sons of this lady only. That is, in that way, he is connected to Pandavas and he is connected to Sri Krishna also. He was a gentleman. Because when he was born, like Duryodhana, when he was born, all Apashakunas took place. Apashakunas means foxes were roaring, crows were coming up there, and there was a lot of Apashakuna. Apashakuna means which we should not be seen. Normally, if we those things are happening, or bad omens, what we can call OMENS, bad omens took place. When the bad omens took place, for Duryodhana also, Vidura immediately comes and tells, "O king, this is the person who has born. He is going to destroy the entire community of Kshatriyas. Just throw him away. Throw one person out, and keep all other sons. It will be good for you like that." But Putra Mamakara was there for Dhritarashtra, and he did not like him. That is a different issue. But in the case of Ekalavya, what happened is that lady, father and mother, they took the decision that this person has to be discarded. This story is there in Harivamsa, please, not in main Mahabharata. It is not there. Harivamsa also we consider it as a killer parva which is attached to Mahabharata only, which I was telling yesterday. Put together 1,25,000 shlokas I was telling. This Harivamsa it is mentioned. This person was put in the forest and they left. And he was taken up by this Hiranyadhanvu, this hunter. And he brought him up. Because this reason he became Suta. Like that, this is the storyline. Here, and in Mahabharata, we also come across Adi Parva, Sambhava Parva one is there. Yesterday, somebody was asking what are those numbers which you have mentioned in the sharing screen, and I was telling that this is actually 100 Parvas we are having, and 100 Parvas are actually bifurcated and put into 18 big Parvas of Mahabharata like that. In that 100 Parvas, one of the Parvas is Sambhava Parva. In that we come across who was the incarnation upon the earth like that. And there we come across one story where we come across that Ekalavya belongs to one cruel sect of Rakshasaganas. He was born upon the earth. That was the background of Ekalavya. This Ekalavya was, of course, he was a hunter, and he wanted to learn the archery. He approached Drona. Drona's background also we need to know for this reason, because Drona at the time, Drona initially had a quarrel with his with Drupada. All persons know the story. Why briefly I am telling is that some people may be missing this storyline. Drupada and Drona were initially they were very good friends in their childhood. And the childhood, when they were born and brought up, Drupada became the king of Panchala. And Drona was still like that only. At the time, Drona was not having given the little milk also he could not give to his son Ashwatthama. So he wanted to approach Drupada. When he approached Drupada, then Drupada behaved very badly. He was behaving very badly with the Drona, and he was telling that there is only friendship will be only with the equals only. I am a king and you are a normal person. There cannot be any friendship. And if you want, you can have food for one day and you can go out like that. In this way, he talked. He wanted to take revenge. Dronacharya came out and where to take the revenge. He came to Hastinapura, and at the time all Pandavas and Kauravas were children of 18 years, 17 years age only. According to Mahabharata, at the time Dharmaraja's age was around 16, people tell, and maybe all other persons are lesser than 16 only, 15, 14, something of that nature. They were learning archery, and we know the story. And they took him because he took out the ball from the well and all this. So we know the story. And because of this reason, they approached Bhishma, and Bhishma assigned him the work of giving them teaching. That is, that you make them learn all the archery and all others, Veda, they should know it. He was teaching all these persons. He was also having some purpose. The purpose is that he wanted to take revenge. And one day he directly asked, I have some problem. Who is going to help me like that? All others kept quiet, and Arjuna alone came there, and he was telling that yes, I am there to help you. I am there. Once Vidyabhyasa is over, I am going to give you the Guru Darshana like that. He promised. Dronacharya was very happy. And he gave 4 or 5 tests. Those things also I am not discussing today. When he gave all the 4 or 5 tests, in all the 4 or 5 tests, Arjuna emerged victorious. All other persons in one way or other way, they were not having Shraddha or whatever it may be. Guru Sushrusha, Shraddha and all these things are very important to learn. So he was giving all types of astras to him only. And he made him a great warrior. And when Kauravas went there to defeat Drupada, they could not defeat. And Arjuna alone and Bhima, they went there and they defeated Drupada and brought him to the place of Drona. And that is the story. So because what happened is that at that stage and one situation, he has given a promise to Arjuna that you will be the only person among my Shishyas. I will make you the greatest person among my Shishyas. That is very, very important. Among my Shishyas, you will be the greatest person. That was the promise he has given. And this was a promise. When the promise took place, subsequently what happened was that they were going, the Pandavas and Kauravas were also very, very happy. Of course, Drona, Duryodhana can't do anything because he has already promised. He was making Arjuna the greatest warrior, going on like that. When they almost entered, everybody has learned everything. At the stage, they went to the forest. When they went to the forest, they were also taking one dog. That is called the dog. The purpose of the dog is that it is earlier when kings were going for hunting, they were also taking dogs also for their help. When they were going, one dog was also going. When the dog went and approached Ekalavya's place, Ekalavya was it was actually seeing the Ekalavya, his face and all these things, he was a very black person. And he was not facial appearance and all these things, his hair and all these things appears to be a bad man. Maybe whatever it may be, the dog was barking at him. When it was barking at him, and he suddenly took out his bow and aimed 7 arrows at it. 7 arrows, and then it came out because its total mouth was shut, it could not bark. All these Pandavas and Kauravas saw that great feat, and they went approached him and asked him, who are you? And then he told, I am the disciple of Dronacharya. This storyline, we know it. Then when he came out, and Arjuna was thinking that among the Shishyas of Dronacharya, he promised me that he can make me the greatest person. Then how can there be another person, the great person? Then he has to teach, because his word will become wrong, no, because he cannot be an Asatya Bhavadi. Because in earlier days, when some promise is there, means the promise you need to stick on. That only he highlighted to Dronacharya. He went there and he was asking, Guruji, on some occasion you told me that I would be the greatest disciple among your Shishyas, and then how can one more person is there? He is better than me. That only he asked. And then Dronacharya thought for a while, because his promise cannot go waste. Those things also we need to understand here, please, in order to understand Ekalavya's story. He straight away goes to Ekalavya and he was asking Ekalavya. And even he went there, Ekalavya took him to the greatest. He actually prostrated over his feet and asked him to sit there, and he was giving all Sushrusha he was doing, and he was telling that I am your disciple. Drona could see his statue, Murti, the statue was there, and he was practicing like that. Then Dronacharya asked only one thing. Edi Shishyosi me Veera Vetanam Diyatam Mama. This is the one word, that is one sentence that is there in Mahabharata. Edi Shishyosi me Veera Vetanam Diyatam Mama. What does it mean? If you feel that you are my Shishya, then I deserve Guru Darshana. This thing he has asked. Then what he is mentioning here is that very carefully we have to see Mahabharata in order to understand Mahabharata, test of Mahabharata. Edi Shishyosi me Veera Vetanam Diyatam Mama. It means that if you really feel that you are my Shishya, then you need to give me the Guru Darshana. Then yes, I am feeling you are my Guru, he was telling. He only proclaiming. Again, then give it. The what is called the thumb was cut. That story we know it. Here, there are two types of criticisms are there here. One type of criticism is that Drona never taught him. When he has never taught, at least he could have left him like that. He was extracting his thumb. That is bad. Second thing is that he is having some vested interest with Arjuna. That is the reason why Arjuna was also a very bad person, and he was asking Dronacharya that you in films, even if you see, they will be, Arjuna will be suggesting Dronacharya ask his thumb like that. This type of picturization films we see. But here, how do you understand this story? The story line, if you understand the story again, like Amrutamatanam also, here also, there are 4 or 5 aspects are there here. You assume one thing. Suppose there is a person aspiring for becoming an MBBS doctor. He wanted to become an MBBS doctor. He is approaching a great university, one university, a reputed university. The universities, for some reason, they refused him. Okay, you can't study here for some reason. He went out by virtue of his great parishrama or his dedication, whatever it may be. He took the notes of this university through some persons, or whatever it may be. He became a great expert in medical field. Then whoever asked, where did you read? He was telling that I was a student of that particular university, he was telling. As long as everything is going on, it is okay. But somehow he is going to do some operations tomorrow and something happens there. At that time, who is responsible for that? That institution which has given him the certificate is responsible for that bad thing. He may be doing some bad thing also. If he is doing some bad thing, even though he was a very expert, maybe while using his expertise and doing some operation, he may miss some time. If he misses some time, what will happen is that people will be asking, blame him, why you have done like that. You belong to which university, that university, great university, how that university has produced people like you like that. So then what the university normally do? University will come, seize his certificate, and they will dissolve that certificate. The certificate is no more operative for him. That is only fake doctors will be seeing in the society. The fake doctor, he is also a fake doctor. Here also, Ekalavya, why don't you think that he is a fake doctor here? He was using the name of Drona, and he was always invoking the name of the Dronacharya. That is why only Dronacharya was very specifically asking, if you feel that you are my Shishya, then I deserve taking Guru Darshana. He could have told, no, I am not feeling you as Guru. Where it is a matter? And because here there are two things are there for Drona. One is that he has given a promise to Arjuna. That promise should not go waste. He has to stand on his own word. That is there. That we need to understand. Second thing is that among the Shishyas, Arjuna should be the great. That is the idea of Dronacharya. Nothing wrong in it, because he was also having interest with Arjuna. Arjuna is going to defeat Drupada, and his interest is also there. Second thing is that his Guru Sushrusha is such a great that Guru Sushrusha is that, and his devotion for learning is also great. Because of this reason, he wanted to make him the greatest warrior. Nothing wrong. So even what happened is that here he is asking, that is why only he was asking very clearly, do you feel that I am your Guru? No means no, no problem. Arjuna is also no problem, and he is also no problem. Dronacharya is also not having any problem. He only was telling, using the name. When you invoke the name of some person, one way or other way, you may be doing some misservice also, disservice also to you. So that is the reason why Dronacharya has, what he has to do is that he has to take out the certificate that has been acquired by him by using his name. That is what Dronacharya has done here. Second thing is that Dronacharya, in the broader perspective, if you see, Dronacharya is the incarnation of Brihaspati. Brihaspati was born as Dronacharya. And here, he knows the tendency of the person. The tendency of this person is Rajasika Pravritti is already there in Ekalavya. You can see, suppose a dog comes to you, a great warrior, a dog is coming. What is how he should respond? At the most, how we do normally, if a dog comes and now we will be taking a stone and put it over it, or we need not kill it, or we should not do some damage to it, but just do some hissing only. Because in Ramakrishna Paramahamsa story we come across, you hiss and don't bite, something of that nature. What he could have done is that he could have put one arrow, a small arrow, and it would have gone. At a time he has put 7 arrows. The tendency of this person is actually trigger-friendly nature. Trigger-friendly nature is that if astra is there, even if for a dog he is putting 7 astras there, if an enemy is there on the opposite side, what type of astra this man is going to put? Should he have those type of things? Because he is a hunter, basically he is a hunter. And who should have the Dhanurveda actually in those days? Because according to Varna system at those times, so the Kshatriyas are the persons who are protecting the society, they should know it. Brahmins are supposed to know it because they are the persons who teach Dhanurveda. The rest of the persons, it is not required to learn all these things. Even if they know it, little knowledge is sufficient. A hunter should know archery to the extent of hunting an animal only. Beyond that, it is not required for him. Astra, Shastra, all these things, he need not know it. Maybe all these reasons are there here. When Dronacharya denied him the education, he was telling that because you are a hunter, I am not going to teach you. That is a single sentence, it is there in Mahabharata. And why he has not taught? This is the one reason. Second thing is that hunter should know archery only to the extent of hunting an animal only. Beyond that, he need not know it. That is one thing. That is why he was not given. Second thing is that some people say that it is actually a caste equation. So if you say like that, Dronacharya has taught Karna. He has given education to Karna. Karna's first guru was Dronacharya only. He taught Karna. At that time, known as Sutaputra only. He gave education. Vrishti, Andhakas, and all these persons also he gave education. Vrishti, Andhakas, and Yadavas. Present day they are considered as BCs only, according to present context. Because present day people only are criticizing this text. Now the BCs, this type of persons only, he taught all those persons. Then he also taught Dushtadhyumna also he taught. Dushtadhyumna, actually he was born for the purpose of killing Dronacharya, which Dronacharya knew it. When Dronacharya, Dushtadhyumna came for learning, Dronacharya was in those days, he was the epitome of all knowledge. Any person who wants to learn archery has to come to him only. His school was so great. People tell that his school was in Dehradun. Even now also people tell, I don't know where exactly it was there. But anyway, people tell that Doon is Dronacharya, connected to Dronacharya, and that is in that particular valley area. And he was teaching archery to all these persons. So everybody has to come there only. Karna came there, Ushtikas came, Andhakas came, Yadavas came, and all those persons he taught. When this Ekalavya came, he refused because you are a Nishada, that is why I am not teaching, that also he told. And he was concentrating on his students only. Drushtadhyumna came there. Drushtadhyumna came there. He thought for a while and thought that anyway, karma is there. Then I can't avoid that karma. Okay, I'll teach. Why should I get bad name? Anyway, if I am destined to die in the hands of Drushtadhyumna, I will die. Even if I don't teach also, he will kill me. Then why not I teach? So he was teaching Drushtadhyumna also, he was teaching. To that extent, he was liberal. And then, and one more aspect of the story also we need to understand is that Drona, who is Drona after all? Drona is actually a person who is working in the court of Bhishmacharya at that time, because Dhritarashtra was a titular head. Kingdom belongs to Panduraja. Panduraja is no more. Pandu's sons and Dhritarashtra's sons all were learning under Dronacharya. Bhishma assigned this work to Dronacharya and asked him to make them the great warriors. His responsibility is to ensure that one among these persons is going to become the greatest personality. All persons are going to become the greatest personality, to what extent it may be. If power center is going to crop up in the other side and claiming that he is the Shishya of Dronacharya, how would the king will treat him? The king will feel that you are working for my court, you are there, in my court you are there, your assignment is that you need to teach all our people, and you are teaching some other person is becoming greater than our persons, which is something bad, no, because you are not doing the Sevaka Dharma, that is also there. As long as Dronacharya is there in the court of Hastinapura, and he has to take care of the Hastinapura people only first of all, and then comes to some other persons. Some other person cannot become more than these persons because his basic duty he will be not following. These so many things are there involved here. All these things normally we forget and we say that Drona Ekalavya was treated very badly because he was a Nishada. And films it will be portrayed like that. And why he was not given education is precisely for the reason that if he is going to become a great warrior, what will happen is that his Rajasa Pravritti will be much more. When Rajasa Pravritti, because that was subsequently it was proved also, he became the warrior of Jarasandha and he invaded Madura at least 17 times or 18 times, and the number I don't remember exactly, 17 or 16 times he invaded. Maybe at the 17th times or 18th time, maybe Krishna killed him. Ekalavya was killed in the hands of Krishna only. That he will be telling in the Drona Parva, he will be telling. Drona Parva, he will be telling that my great purpose is that to preserve the Dharma as a whole. That is why I destroyed Shishupala in Rajasuyaga. I destroyed Ekalavya earlier only when he invaded Madura. Like that he was telling in that occasion, Drona Parva we will come across. Because Ekalavya story is piecemeal, it is there. One place it is there, some other place it is mentioned in some other place. Harivamsha, some other text is there. If we collate all these things, this is the background of Ekalavya story. Here Ekalavya was not given education because he is also a great warrior. Normally, a broader perspective, if we see what will happen is that he is a great warrior. He has learnt on his own, and still this person has come claiming guruship. He has taken out his vidya. And why he has taken out the vidya? Because all these three reasons also we have to think over. Because if he claims that I am not your Shishya, there ends the matter, nobody will ask him. He can learn. But thing is that he has learnt from the Dronacharya only. Here, how he has learnt it? Because Dronacharya, he was doing veneration, he was putting the statue of Dronacharya and he was practicing. Normally we say that Vigraharadhana is bad only. Some people will, rational people will be telling what is there in the stone. But you believe it or not, sometimes if you upasana is also something great. Sometimes if you do continuously upasana over a particular object, you are going to attain the lokas of upasana. That is what Ishavasyopanishad tells us. Continuously upasana was given more prominence in Ishavasyopanishad, except for the first two shlokas. Last 6 or 8 shlokas, 18 shlokas are there in Ishavasyopanishad, and the last 6 or 7 shlokas of Ishavasyopanishad continuously mentioning about karmas and also upasana, both they will be mentioning. If you are continuously doing any karma, nishkama karma, and also upasana, you are going to attain the upasana, upasya devata, you are going to attain like that. Here also upasana has that much importance is that you continuously follow the doing upasana over a particular object. The particular object will be appearing before you, and then you are going to attain something great. Because we can't believe all these things normally because we don't practice all these things. We don't have time. Even 5 minutes meditation also we can't spend. That is the age. That is the age because of the what is called all this technology and all these things. How we have become is that we don't have time to turn back and reflect what is happening. And that was the situation here. We can't do upasana, we can't do meditation, we can't sit for even 10 minutes or 15 minutes even for pranayama. This is the nature of the society that we are having today. Those type of persons, we can't criticize upasana and all these things unless you practice it, you ponder over it. Then if something is not happening, then only you can question it. Otherwise, we don't have the authority to question all these things. That is why here he was doing that upasana. By virtue of upasana, people tell that Dronacharya was appearing in his dreams and he was teaching. Some people will be telling that Dronacharya as if he was coming and he was teaching like that, he was feeling like that and he was practicing, whatever it may be. This has also its own value, that over those things we are not doing much research. Those type of research is also very much required. Here he was denied only because if this type of person is going to enter into the society, what would happen to the society as a whole? Because he has joined the forces of Jarasandha subsequently. I will see just it is actually another 2 minutes I will spend on one more subject. This is why Dronacharya here, this Ekalavya was not given education, and that is the reason why Rakshasas were not given Amrita Bhanda. And one more good event I can tell you, Karna approaches Dronacharya. He approaches Dronacharya and he was asking, Guruji, you have given Brahmastra to Arjuna, why don't you? Because a Guru should have equal, he should treat all his Shishyas equally only. I am also your Shishya, why don't you give me Brahmastra, he asks. Then he refuses to give. Why he refuses to give and why he has given to Arjuna? He refuses to give even Brahmastra Upasamhara to Ashwatthama, he has not given. Brahmashiro Namakastra he gave to Arjuna and he has not given to Ashwatthama also. No, here there is no ill will or no bad feeling. Because there should be some adhikara lakshanam should be there for the person who has to take some vidya. In Vedanta we will be telling Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, Shama, Dama, Indriya Nigraha, what is called Uparati, Titiksha, and all these things we will be mentioning. Here also for learning Dhanurveda or any other subject also, we should have the qualities for learning it. Any odd person you can't give it. If something is given to trigger friendly person, when a person who puts 7 arrows at a dog, this person, if something great astra is there, what he is going to do? Some nuclear weapon systems are there in some many countries. If the button is given to the hands of some person who doesn't have the Indriya Nigraha, what he will do? He may destroy the entire world. That is not the idea here. So great astra should be given only to those persons who are having that Shama, Dama, Indriya, Shakta, Nigraha and all these things. They should be having those type of things. You observe the nature of Aswatthama and you observe the nature of Karna. Subsequent periodly it was proved. Karna got this Bhargavastra from Parshurama. What did he do with Bhargavastra? Bhargavastra, he used it for the purpose of killing lakhs and lakhs of people in the battlefield when he was there. There should be put only for the great people only, he should aim it. But he indiscriminately used this astra in the end of the war and killed so many normal soldiers, he killed it. That was his nature. Ashwatthama, when all Pandavas, Upa-Pandavas were sleeping, he entered to that place. Pandavas were not there at that time. He and Krupacharya started destroying all the remaining army of Pandavas. And Ashwatthama entered into the tent and he systematically killed all 5 Upa-Pandavas and he left. That was his nature. Those type of persons, should they be given this great astras? That we have to think over, because Dharma has to be seen from the broader perspective only. We have to see in the beginning only. I have to tell. Here, let us correct this all the 3 stories from the introduction which I have given. Morals and ethics. Morals are actually, if you feel that morally it is wrong, fine. But what is morally wrong, you apply rationality for it. Whether that is standing to the test of the reason, whether it is going to help the society as a whole or not, whether how these persons, if they are going out, whether they are doing favor to the society or whether they are destroying the fabric of the society, these things we need to understand. Then only you need to apply dharma. Dharma is not something, it is not a piecemeal which I was telling. Dharma is not piecemeal. Dharma is not what actually, that is actually test whatever it written, it is not dharma. It is something beyond it that is called dharma sushmata. Dharma sushmata is more important than dharma. Dharma says that if somebody is contributing for the cause, he should get the equal share. But dharma sushmata says that whether he is deserving that one, whether he is using that one for the good cause or bad cause, that you need to see it and then you need to give it. Nuclear butter should not be given to a normal person, and great astras cannot be given to the normal people because they are going to use it for the purpose of destroying the society. A hunter should know only archery to the extent of hunting only, beyond that not required, because he is not going to protect the people. He is not going to teach other persons also. It is not his, what is called cup of tea. So this is how we have to understand these all stories. So dharma, sushmata, ethics, morals, these type of things we have discussed today with some examples only. Now, because these so many questions, I think I may expect from you, because you know it is already 7:47. Now I leave it for the audience, and anybody can ask any question, please.
Raise your hands, those who want to ask questions. In fact, you have dealt with in such a detail, I don't think somebody, there is scope for asking questions. Yeah. Gupta Garu.
Namaskar, Mahoday. You have given a very good interpretation of how to understand the stories, which I have not heard so far. I got one doubt. In many places, Devatas, they are found to be weak and they are defeated by the Rakshasa. Does it mean that the Satvika Guna will not be able to win over the bad people?
But there are occasions when it is again, as I told, these are the two types of thoughts in the mind. Many times Devas will be getting defeated. Asura Pravritti will be on the rise only. But you need to promote this the Devata Pravritti and not Asura Pravritti. Many times because whenever we come across the stories of Devas getting defeated in the hands of Asuras and all these things, what we need to understand is that here, those things are stories content only, because what exactly is the purpose of the story? What is the purpose of writing that story? Because here sometimes bad characters will be on the higher side, adharma will be there. And ultimately, Devas also, we believe it or not, Devas are actually, they represent the Indriyas of the human being. Sun represents eye, moon represents the Manas. Like that, Chachu, Vak, Indriya, all these things are connected to different gods only. That is why there are some stories we come across. He wanted to kill all the Devas. Then if you want to kill all Devas, means you are destroying your own self. So here, Devas are actually the forces of nature. And because in Vedanta we come across what we can call Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is the first human being. First, not human being, first personality that emerged out of the Maya Vichinna Chaitanyam, what we can call. Out of that, all these Trimurtis, Vishnu, then Shiva and Brahma. One is creator, one destroyer, and one is protector, and all these persons. And these are all different gods. They represent different portfolios they are given. One person is given the portfolio of giving water. One person was given the portfolio of wind. And one person was given some other portfolio. Like that, all these are portfolios only. At the Kalpanta, all these persons also will go away. Like all, not only human beings, all these gods also will disappear. All Saptarishis also will disappear. Nobody will be there. Then new gods and new Saptarishis will be appearing out of the Maya, which in Chaitanya for Hiranyagarbha. Again, the cosmic personality. This type of Vedanta, we come across all these things. Of course, we don't want to delve deep in all those things. Here, each and every person is giving, because in suppose asuras are coming and destroying yajnas. The symbolic significance is that yajna is for the purpose of energizing the gods. Energizing the gods means if the gods are energized, we will be getting rain, we will be getting wind, we will be getting all other things. The society will be going on a smooth fashion. If the fabric is disrupted by way of obstructing yajnas and yagas and all this, naturally what will happen? The social fabric of the society will be destroyed. The very purpose of suppressing Bali Chakravarti by Vishnu is the same thing. Bali Chakravarti is a great devotee of Vishnu. Still he was pressed to the Patala Loka, because God should be on the ascendancy, because gods, that doesn't mean that gods are the personality. The portfolios are very important. The portfolios are for the purpose of giving something great to the society as a whole. Indra is there. If Indra is great, Indra is strong, then only he can give rain. If Varuna is there, he can give rain. If Agni is there, he can give light and all these things. These type of things. Because these persons are, if they are suppressed by asuras, even though they are devotees, the devotees also don't have the place here. They should go to the Patala Loka only. That is a broad idea here. So here also same thing. Asuras, sometimes they will be rising because of the Asurika Pravrutti. That should be contained. That is the whole thought of whatever Mahabharata, Vedas, Puranas, whatever it may be. That is that idea. With that idea, if we read any story, I think it has some meaning.
But what are the bad qualities of Bali? I have not come across any bad qualities of Bali.
Nothing is there. Bad qualities of Bali is that he was taking the Havis, entire Havis he was taking. Havis, whenever yajnas are conducted, the Havis will be there. No, Havis is meant for the gods. If the gods are energized, then only they can give rain, they can give Agni and all this. When they are resplendent, the society is resplendent. He was taking the Havis. That is the only thing he was doing. Beyond that, nothing. He was a great devotee of Vishnu also. That is why he was suppressed. Otherwise, what is the reason of suppressing Bali Chakravarti? Nothing is there. And then Krishna is Vishnu. He is not having any what is called mamakara. Nothing is there for him. Nothing is there for him, because he is whether he is a devotee or any other person, whoever it may be, everybody is equal for him only. No, that is the reason why. He sees only the preservation of dharma is more important for him. The structure of the society should go smoothly. The society as a whole should run smoothly, and there should not be any disruption in the society. And people should get whatever they deserve. He is a protector. That is the idea here.
Okay, Gopalakrishna garu.
Namaskaram andi. My question is about Upakhyanas. See, all the Upakhyanas in Mahabharatam, can we say that not all of them are written by Veda Vyasa, or some of them are written by Veda Vyasa and some other by later scholars? So how do we, I mean, basically, how do we come to know as to which part was written by original Veda Vyasa and which was not?
Yes, sir, this is actually, for that matter, even that original Mahabharata, what we can consider 8,000 slokas, or the elaborated version of 1 lakh slokas. Also, we don't have the original Prati, that is called the Talapatra Grantha of Veda Vyasa. Nothing is there even for us. 1 lakh stories, if you want originality, it has been there for the last so many generations, it is there. And why we consider this for 1 lakh stories as written by Veda Vyasa? Because only one reason is that we are having 4 or 5 pratis we are having. All 4 or 5 pratis, all the shlokas are there. North Indian version it is there, South Indian version is there, Gita Press it is there, Bhandarkar Institute it is there. All this, wherever we are getting the pratis of Mahabharata, original, supposed to be considered as Kumbakonam Prati and all these things. Almost all shlokas are matching, except 1 or 2 here and there. Because of this reason, we consider all these shlokas maybe they're handed over from generation to generation over a period of thousands and thousands of years. It is coming down like that. Do you not have that original Prati for this 1 lakh shlokas also? Similarly, we don't have the original Prati for this 8,000 shlokas also. We don't have the thing. Because of this reason, whether these Upakhyanas were already there in the 1 lakh shlokas, in all Pratis. That is why we consider that everything is written by Veda Vyasa only, because we believe that Veda Vyasa is the incarnation of Lord Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu, who else other than Mahavishnu can write Mahabharata like that? It is mentioned in Mahabharata itself. So he has written that one. You can't delineate which portion is written by Mahabharata and later scholars what he has done it, because it is over a period of years it is there. Even if you do, I don't think any research will be having any effect over unearthing the facts, which is actually written by Veda Vyasa. Veda Vyasa, because all the pratis, all 1 lakh shlokas are there. Harivamsa is also there, all 25,000 shlokas are there. Here and there, some patantaras are there. Patantaras are there. Here, some changes are there here and there. But major test and Siddhanta and all these things, no deviation in all the tests. That is why we can't say whether the original prati of anything is not there for that matter.
Understood.
Yes, sir. That is it, sir.
Thanks, Anil. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
Okay, Varaprasad garu.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, Guruji. Excellently explained, sir. As it was done yesterday, it was very, very absorbing, engrossing. I have just 2 questions, sir. That Ekalavya episode which you have explained, it is in which Parva, sir?
Ekalavya is in Adi Parva only.
Adi Parva.
Adi
And
Parva
another
is-
question is,
Adi Parva is
Tell
there.
me.
Also, it is mentioned in Drona Parva. Also, it is mentioned. Also mentioned in Harivamsa.
okay. Okay, one more question was, actually you might have told yesterday, I might have missed it. How much time it has taken for Mahaganapati to write this Mahabharata when Vyasa was dictating?
It is 3 years they tell, sir. 3 years. They took 3 years for completing the entire work. 3 years.
At which spot exactly, sir? Where exactly he has dictated this? Which spot? Which
Sir,
place?
this
At
is
Kurukshetra.
because in the tests and all the places it is mentioned that Veda Vyasa Guha is there beyond Haridwar. If you go there, Rudraprayag, Devaprayag is there. Even now also, if you reach up to the Rudraprayag,
Okay.
Badri, beyond Badri actually, beyond Badri it is there. There they will be telling that there is a Guha of Veda Vyasa. That Guha in
Okay.
that Vyasa Guha, called as Vyasa Guha. In the Vyasa Guha, he was sitting there and he was contemplating over the entire events, and then when the entire thing was visualized in his mind, he wanted to put it on paper, but that is very difficult for him because his speed was such that and he was not having time. So he approached Ganapati, and Ganapati came, and it was written in that place, sir, beyond Badri, that place.
Okay.
Vyasa
Thank you
Guha
so
even
much.
now
Thank
also
you.
it
Thank
is
you
there,
very
sir.
much, sir.
Yes, sir. Vyasa Guha even now it is
Thank you
there,
very much, sir.
sir. One more thing which
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Time is over.
Tell me.
The thing is that here, Vyasa Guha, if you want to learn much more means, there is a book by name Himalayan Wonders, sir. Himalayan Wonders. Chinmayananda is there, no, Chinmayananda's guru. He has written the book Himalayan Wonders. That book he has mentioned about each and every Guha. Then whatever that are there in the entire Himalayan ranges. There he has mentioned this.
Okay.
This Guha he has mentioned at least in 2 pages he has written down. You can read it, sir. There it is written down.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
Okay,
you. Sir.
Gautam ji. Unmute yourself. Unmute. Yeah.
Namaskar, Rahul. My question is that, like a bad certificate from a university you mentioned, and therefore Rakulubbo was not given the name of Dronacharya. But actually, Ashwatthama, I think I missed that part, or I wanted to hear again something. Actually, Ashwatthama was his, not only his disciple, but also his son, Dronacharya's. But he did a very cowardly act of that Suptik Parva, killing in the night. So then this thing, that the certificate by Dronacharya, that again, that got a bad name, no? Because your comment, please.
He was teaching to all the disciples. Initially, he was having some inclination to give more education for Ashwatthama. That is there because of this reason. One of the tests which he has given is that he was asking all the students in the beginning itself. He was telling that he was giving a small parts. He was giving to each and every disciple and asking them to bring water from the place, one place. He was giving a big one for Ashwatthama so that he can fill it fast and come back again. When Ashwatthama comes back, and Ashwatthama naturally, when a big pot, he can bring water at a time, and other persons will be bringing very slowly. So by the gap, he wanted to make use of it for the giving of special education for Ashwatthama. That is mentioned in Mahabharata. But initially, he thought like that only. Why can't I give more education for my own son like that? That was his idea. But thing is that when all other persons were wandering like that, Arjuna stood there only and he put Varunastra and he was also not going anywhere. He was as equal as Ashwatthama and both were sitting together and they were learning. Then Ashwatthama was not doing any extra because he was given an advantage, the advantage of taking a big part, and he was fetching the water. Arjuna, by using his intellect, and he was getting the water on his own. Other persons were going there, rushing and bringing the water. So maybe when the questioning time was there, in the questioning time, he was teaching both persons. And over a period of years, he has given 4 tests. And if time permits, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I can cover what are the tests, what is Guru Bhakti, Shushrusha, and all these things. When Dronacharya was caught in water, then by a crocodile, and no other person came, everybody was running helter-skelter. And only Arjuna came and to his help, and he destroyed it with his arrow. That is also there. And Arjuna was the only person who was telling that I am going to defeat Drupada and give you Guru Darshan. All these things are there. So what will happen is that because of Shushrusha and all these things, he was pleased by him. And thing is that here Ashwatthama, he doesn't deserve all these things because a guru will be knowing the mind of the personality, the Shishya, whether he is adhikari for that particular thing or not. That is the reason why he has not given Brahmashiro Namakastra. While giving Brahmashiro Namakastra, he tells also. This astra cannot be given to the normal people who are having vacillation of intellect. I can't give all those persons. That is why I did not give it to my son also. I did not give. I have not given it to any other person. I am giving only to you only because you have that Indriya Nigraha, you have that discriminating knowledge, you have that what is called Shama, Dama, and all these things you have. That is why I am giving it to you. Because while giving also, you cannot give it to any person for that matter. You have to give it only to that person who can use it for the better purpose. And it cannot be used indiscriminately. No, that is the reason.
No, you mean to say that that particular act of killing in the night by Ashwatthama doesn't give a bad name to Dronacharya? No,
Here, that is why only he has not given great astras. Great astras was not, they were not given to Ashwatthama. He has given because he is son and all other persons, even Duryodhana and other persons also, he has given little a few astras.
No, Ashwatthama actually he fired of Brahmastra at the end.
Brahmastra he has given to Ashwatthama, but Upasamhara was not given to him.
Oh, yeah.
That is but that is given to Arjuna. And that is also there. So many things are actually, some favoritism is definitely there in favor of Arjuna for special reasons. So Guru can analyze the mind of the person after seeing the mentality of the person, how he behaves, how he acts, Raja, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Guna, proportions and all these things. He can analyze it from the beginning itself on the face of it. And seeing all these things, you need to give the education according to their status only. That is the idea, sir, here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Actually, what I was just thinking is giving Brahmastram is more dangerous not for not giving retrieving power.
Yes, sir.
If you have retrieving power, if that guy is a little weak also, he will retrieve. So I think Brahmastram should be given, should be given to the weaker person. Even if Brahmastram is given to the stronger person, he will use it only after due consideration.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, it has become, I feel it is little ulta. A weaker person is given more power. That means he is not given the power of retrieving. So he is more dangerous.
Maybe you are correct, sir. In one way, I will also think over this issue because this thought has not come to my mind. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me analyze, sir. Because there are some scholars are there. Some scholars who definitely we can ask, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe they may be telling, because some persons who analyze it much more on Mahabharata will be there. Let us see, sir.
Yes, sir. So now let us do prarthana.
No, there's one more. Prakash is there.
Okay.
Sir, namaste, sir. Sir, actually, I came to know that on Parikshit, that is the child, Garbhastha Sishu of Uttara, the Brahma Sironamakasta was employed by the Ashwatthama, and how is it possible that he could learn it from others when it is not given by Drona?
It is Brahmastra, I believe, sir. It is not Brahmasiro Namakastra. It is Brahmastra only has put. Mahabharata, we come across Ashwatthama putting Brahmastra and Arjuna also putting Brahmastra. Like that only it is mentioned.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Shall we close, sir? Or no, I'm asking you, sir. Shall we close?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now let us do Pradhana. Ramesh Babu garu.
Namaskaram, sir. Okay, sir. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यं परिपालयन्तं न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथ्वी सस्यश्यालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सदनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतम् सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नमस्कार सर
धन्यवाद. Let us do Pradhana.
Janaganamana.
Janaganamana, sir.
Can I do it? Voice is
Yeah, you are
no
silent.
noise.
You are silent. Go ahead.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्ज्वल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद.
Jai Hind. Thank you, Chit Babu.
Thank you, sir.
Now let us
Stop.